Welcome back, beautiful souls, to the Dream Room. I'm Amytra, and this is the space where visionaries, culture shapers, and courageous dreamers come to share the stories behind their work. Today, we're joined by someone who is quietly creating a new blueprint for the modern music journey, Michael Peterson, founder of Harvest Moon Recording Studios and Blue Tree Records in Martinez, California. He has built more than a studio. He's built a sanctuary where artists can grow, explore, and rise without pressure or limitation. Michael stepped away from the old, rigid, hourly studio model and created something entirely new, a monthly subscription that gives artists full, liberated access to recording, live streaming, performance space, event hosting, fan engagement, business strategy, and the support to truly thrive. In his world, artists aren't just recorded, they're cultivated. They're guided, they're empowered to build sustainable careers and meaningful legacies. So today we're stepping into the heart of that vision and into the story of the man reshaping how artists live, create, and share their gifts. Michael, it's so good to have you.
Thank you for having me, Amytra. This is really an honor. I appreciate you having me on.
Oh, thank you. So, origins and callings. When you look back at young Michael, what moment made you realize that music wasn't just something you loved, but something you were called to build your life around?
That's a great question. I first got the bug when I was probably 11 years old, when I heard the junior high jazz band come through our school.
Oh.
That's when it started. But I think I really got the bug when I actually had been a recording artist myself, and also when I became a commercial recording engineer. The common question I would get from artists, like, how do I promote my music? How do I get it out there? And I really wasn't equipped to do that. You know, you'd spend 6-7 months with an artist working on an album, and it's like, oh, I'm just an engineer. So I felt there was a need. And also I wanted to, artists most of the time don't have really a business sense, they're artists. So I said, something's missing there. And I've always been a businessman. I've always had my own businesses. So it was a natural transition to try to help artists and have them do well and guide them. So a label made sense, and also a label that I would have autonomy. I was sort of going for being a producer on labels myself. And I realized I didn't like some of the things that were going on with some of the majors. And I said, I think being a little older, I kind of got, I think I need to have my own shop where I can have autonomy and quality control and actually kind of go back to the days of artist development, which is not happening anymore with the major labels.
Mm-hmm. Tell us the story of how Harvest Recording Studios came into being. What was the dream that pulled you into creating a space of your own?
I was like a lot of musicians. I went to San Francisco and did some recording, and a couple engineers I loved working with. And one day I had an old reel-to-reel 4-track, and started out, my friends were asking me to record them. And so I was kind of doing that, and I was also a full-time musician at the time, playing solo piano and making a living that way. I also had a commercial DJ business that I did weddings for. I was a wedding DJ, plus I was a musician. I kind of made the transition from playing full-time to being a full-time DJ and making money doing weddings from the mere transition of, like, I could make the same amount in one wedding as working at a hotel a week. So that was kind of my inspiration doing that. But somewhere along the line, I don't even remember what happened. I had some money from the DJ business. I said, you know what? I really would love to have a commercial studio. And that's before the proliferation of studios today, wherever people are building home studios. Mm-hmm. It was kind of like back then you'd make a commercial studio with commercial space.
Yes.
Before the advent of home studios. Didn't know what I was doing. I hired a gentleman to design the space, the walls, inside the walls. And I actually took me a year to build the space, and I put time and effort into it. And I'm really glad I did, because I get a lot of feedback from clients, especially women. They come in, oh, it's so nice, it's clean, it's safe.
I was thinking that when I first sat down here. This is my first time in your space, and I was thinking, what a nice space this is.
Thank you. Yeah, it's really kind of paid off. It's gone through some changes, color changes and so forth over the years, and some revisions. But kind of taking the path of creating commercial space has really paid off. As you just said, you feel a certain, quality of standards here and so forth.
Absolutely. Every creative space has its own spirit. So how would you describe the soul of Harvest Moon, and what do you hope artists feel the moment they step inside?
That's a great question. That they feel safe, that they feel they're working with someone that's really, truly interested in helping them. It's a safe environment, that the producer cares, that we care about their music, and we're really kind of like a fan of what they're doing. And our whole thing, because I have a team of people I work with too, that we're creating something that's really special for them, that's customized for them. We're really proud we don't use samples. We actually create everything from scratch. Of course, with AI going on, it's a whole nother ball of wax.
Right.
Yeah. It's funny, I won't get on the track of AI, but what a lot of people don't know is that you have to really be careful in the spirit of putting music out there. For instance, YouTube you can't monetize your music if it's AI. I know people know that on YouTube. And also, if you're creating music for TV and film, they don't allow AI either. So you got to be careful on what you use. Mm-hmm. So it's better to actually make your own music or have someone, people buy beats and things like that. But you really want the rights of your own music for monetization purposes. So I kind of keep an eye on what's kind of going on there as far as musicians. And I tell the people I produce, we really need to create music that you own outright. And then also, if you get a song in a movie or TV episode, a lot of times the music supervisors may want to change. So you got to be able to go back to the original tracks. So there's a lot of reasons to create your own music. I think AI is a great writing tool. In fact, I just read an article where pretty much every session that goes through Hollywood, some type of AI is used. Not necessarily recording, but maybe they want, hey, let's see what alternate chorus would sound like or some lyrics. So AI, I think, is more of a tool to sort of, with the pros, to help have options, like what might be an option of lyrically, what to do here, how could we change this musically? So, but I think the pros are not necessarily using AI because, see, it's a double-bladed sword because, with the advance of technology, all the algorithms are also paying attention to where you're getting the music from. So it's really kind of scary. It's like, I'm actually kind of like, will I ever use AI? Because where'd you pull this from?
Resulting in copyright strikes on YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people are getting their channels demonetized.
Yeah. And there's been stories. So, like I said, I think it's a good writing tool. I have a client that, they're coming to me. I just made this song with AI, but I know we can't use this, but he goes, I wanted some flutes in here, but AI couldn't do it. It's kind of funny. But I was pretty blown away because he had actually sang the melody, which is really great, and put the chords in on his guitar. And not a great guitarist, super great guy, great writer, but the AI actually improved it, and actually where he was trying to go, it actually figured out the chords, which is really trippy.
Yeah.
So AI definitely has its place for that, for a writing tool to help musicians. I don't want to be mean-spirited about it, but you just got to be careful how you use it.
So where would you go from there? You say your artists used AI somewhat to get started. So now where does it go?
So what happens is they might come in with an AI version, and we can't use that for copyright purposes, but we can actually get an idea. It's like, I kind of like what AI was doing here. Now, I don't want to write something just like AI, but the spirit, maybe some of the instruments they're using. So it's a good start, and it's also sort of a vibe. It's like, I like the vibe that this AI gave. So you're kind of recreating, but you're making it uniquely your own. And like I said, AI is so new that you don't know what they keep track of and what they don't. It's like, because I know that the latest with YouTube, they can tell if your stuff is AI.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, so they have the algorithm. So you figure the technology is out there. It's also out there to figure out if you're actually using AI. So that's a double-bladed sword. But if people kind of like, so what's a writing tool? It gives me different lyrics, different ways of singing something, different melody ideas. That makes sense. It's like you have a team of writers kind of helping you. So I'm trying to see the positive side.
Yeah, absolutely.
So anyway, I get off the AI thing, but I'm trying to be positive about it.
Yeah, I heard someone say recently, it's just like when CDs came out and they were replacing, or when we went digital, when we had analog, which sounds much warmer.
Yeah.
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 But
Yeah.
we make it all work. We adjust, we adapt.
Yeah. So that's in my piece about AI. I'm trying to be positive about it.
Good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I admit I was a little scared too when it
Yeah.
came out. You know, I was like, no, they're replacing us. They
Yeah,
don't need
yeah.
us anymore. I labor over a song. I've labored over a song like 3 months on a bridge.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't come up with the bridge. And then
Yeah.
I'm like, AI is just going to replace me. I'm going to write the song in
Well,
like
you know,
3 minutes.
and I want people to realize that if AI is pulling it, it's been done before. They didn't create it from scratch.
That's right.
So that's what people need to remember. I think a lot of times, well, how close is it to what people are sort of doing already? Because there's a library called Splice, where you can literally just pull choruses, verses, music, and you're not writing any music. I've had clients literally pull samples and actually pull them together with the technology. They can actually change the tempo, put all of the things in the right key if they know how to do it. And so it becomes a song. So really they're not creating any music, but as a library that they paid for, which is cool. It have to be licensed. So that's not too far away. The only thing that they have to come up with is, well, supposedly how they sing the song. Like you said, lyrics and things like that. But the music might be all samples that, samples started happening in the 90s. So it's really not that. It's like, I was thinking, how close is that to, because there's a lot of people who don't do production, so they're pulling samples. Not just when the rappers did it, but now just people who are pulling, like they might not play an instrument, but they'll pull a music pad or some drums or maybe a song that's all, like the song might be almost done. It might be a sample, but they'll pull those samples like from Splice and kind of mishmash them together. And the cool part about the technology is that you can actually change the tempos of the samples. It's really gotten sophisticated. So that's not too far away from AI because but the cool part about Splice is all that music had to be licensed. Mm-hmm. My complaint is way AI said they're just pulling music without paying for it.
Exactly. Ripping.
Yeah. So that's not cool.
Like when Napster came out.
Yeah. so I have an issue with that, not paying for the people that created this,
I agree.
Splice is different because they paid their composers,
Yes, we like that.
Yeah.
So one thing about your monthly subscription, it eliminates the pressure of the clock.
Yeah.
And gives artists space to breathe. Mm-hmm. How do you feel that has shifted or changed the quality of the music that is produced in that atmosphere?
You mean me helping
like the emotional energy of your sessions, just knowing there's no time clock.
Yeah, I do the subscription for two different reasons. I kind of understand musicians and how they think. I've been around them forever. Mm-hmm. And I'm sort of there to, I've been told over and over, you're like a coach. And if you're really a producer, you are really a coach.
That makes sense to me.
So I always tell them, it's like, you have as good a chance as anybody out there. The thing is that you have to be consistent. And I like to have an artist come in no less than once a week. And we figure out a day that works for them. So it's, same time. And then they can kind of think what they're going to do in, the next week. And I tell them, it's like, it's good that you're coming in once a week because I'm thinking about the next session. You're in my conscience. And they laugh like, no, you are. It's like, I'm thinking, we could do this or that. And then the biggest part is we would get stuff done on a timely manner. But I've artists have come in, maybe work for 2 months straight and then drop off the map. It's like, and then they'll come back 6 months later. It's like, what did we do 6 months ago? I can't remember. So plus it just puts a delay on thing. And sometimes people say, what's the money? It's like, it's really never the money because you buy other things. Well, is this a priority for you? So I think people really, get in their way of actually accomplishing things.
Sure.
So I feel good when I can put them on a schedule and it's like, let's get this done and I'll help you with all the other things along the way,
Mm-hmm. Your model includes so much more than recording, live streaming.
Yeah. So, boy, because I'm an entrepreneur and I've, really gone into marketing, I think today it's really an amazing time for artists. Obviously, everyone knows about TikTok and YouTube. And so there's so many opportunities. You don't have to be signed to a major. In fact, sometimes it's better if you don't. So I always think you can make less money and make more, which is kind of interesting. Because the label's like, I think this was written like someone that, let's say you're selling 500,000 units, which back in the day could have been CDs. So let's say you had sold 500,000, you could make the same amount of money if you sold 7,000 units. as opposed to fighter, because the record company is taking so much with overhead and everything.
And yes.
Yeah. So, and also, a lot of times record labels have 360 deals, but where they didn't take merch before, they're getting a piece of that now.
Yeah.
So merch is such a huge thing. I really feel that I think, if Spotify disappears in the next 5 years, I'll be a happy camper, because they're not your friend.
Agreed.
Yeah. So, so I think if musicians, in fact, who was it? Someone just creating their own shop and they're walking away. What's his name? He was a Disney star. He was in a boys group. It'll come to me in a second. Oh, Justin Bieber. Was he with Disney? No, he was. He was found on YouTube, I think. I'm thinking of someone else.
Oh, you're right. He was found on YouTube.
Yeah, but he's actually creating his own shop, and I think is gonna sell his music direct. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
So I think when the bigger stars, because they're losing so much money, and this is crazy. So I think when that starts happening, I think some of the young artists, the new artists, will follow suit. So, and I think one day, because Spotify just, they're not good people. So
they just really betrayed their membership.
Yeah. Well, I could go down the rabbit hole, but the labels are in bed with them too. So I don't really trust the majors. I am a label. I'm an independent, but I don't think like that. I'm for the artist. I come from being an artist myself. I think there's money for everyone.
Yes.
My first thing is to make, I don't know if everyone kind of gets my whole theory. It's like right off the bat, I want you to make money. I want artists to start making money. 'Cause I don't do advances, but we earn the money as we go along. So there's ways to make money as an artist, not from Spotify. You're not going to make money.
No.
You could sell. There was an artist that just, in fact, she got dropped from Spotify. She was what was her name? Yeah, she actually has her own YouTube. That's quite a following. There was some copyright this thing that was happening that she got.
Is that the artist that spent $100,000 on her?
What was her name?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
But she's really impressive.
Yeah,
her stuff is really high quality.
Yeah, so I think she said she had got 1 million downloads, and I'm trying to think, Karra or something. She actually only made $1,200 off 1 million downloads.
That's reality.
Yeah, so anyway, on a positive note, an artist can actually make their own way. They're going to have to do some work, though. Some marketing. They're going to have to reach out to their fans. You can't rely on digital posts or Facebook posts, or you actually have to have direct contact with your fans.
Creating community.
Yeah. So if an artist walks away, like if they're performing, doing their own show, which we actually have a facility that artists can do shows here. So, and we actually do broadcasts and things like that. So I tell them the biggest thing that you want to do is get people's contact information. Have someone, preferably a young lady, walk around because they're unthreatening, and say, "Hey, we're giving away something today. I just want to do the assumption mode. I just want to get your text and your email so we can contact you. And just like assume they're going to give it to you. No one says no." And that way you walk away with the information, and that's how you build your brand. That's how you build your fan base. The most important thing of all. And it's amazing how many people don't do that. You could do a house concert. You could you're performing for a festival. There's ways of getting people's information. And the fan subscription, do you want me to talk a little bit about that, how that works?
Yeah, that'd be
So
great.
we have a thing where I tell artists, like, there's some major artists out there that are doing fan subscription who aren't signed to labels. Let's say you're only charging $8.95 for a fan subscription. Should I explain what a fan subscription is?
Yes, that'd be great. Yeah.
Okay, that basically, because everybody say, "Well, is it Patreon?" It's like everyone goes to Patreon. So no, you create your own subscription within your website. You don't really want to partner with someone else. You want to get the money directly. And basically, you kind of create some really cool things. Like it could be anything from special tickets, special videos, day in the studio, all these little things that you're comfortable with giving away. Maybe you're singing for their anniversary, birthday. They get things back from the fan subscription. They're entitled to these things. And a lot of times, fans want to support the artist anyway. And maybe it's a discount on some of the merch and stuff like that. It's anything that you feel comfortable with. Mm-hmm. So you create all the things they would get back, and not necessarily costing you money, but it's advantages. So let's say it was $8.95 per month. that comes out of the fans account. That comes to $107 a year. Now, if the artist has, check this out, let's say down the road they have 10,000 fans, that's $1 million.
Wow.
So that's just 10,000 fans. That's direct fan subscription. And also there's different tiers. Bandzoogle, that's an artist site that provides websites for, for artists. They have a thing where sometimes they'll tier it. You have the first level, the middle level, and then maybe the top level. So you might have fans that want to donate even more money. So it's like maybe your goal is selling that middle bracket, instead of like $8.95, maybe you want to do it for $20 a month or maybe $25. And there's those fans who want to support you. So it's amazing. Like it comes back to, it's like you can actually make some money if you do the business. But you really have to communicate with your fans, let them know what you're doing. Do some video content, talk about it at your shows, talk about the advantages. Also, if an artist has 1,000 fans, that basically, if they're super fans, okay, and people say, what is a super fan? A super fan basically is someone that comes to see you 4 times a year. It's not even per quarter. It could be 3 times. And it's like, oh, well, how does it come to like $100? Well, let's say they spend $35 a concert. Well, that's actually over $100. You multiply that times 1,000. So if a fan sees you 3 times a year, just comes to your concerts, we're not even talking about buying merch. We're just talking a ticket. Because when we do concerts, we actually pre-sell the tickets.
Okay.
So I really help the artists. Like, you have to pre-sell the tickets. And the joke is, like, 20% of your fans won't show. What?
No, it's true.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So it's like, that's why you want to pre-sell.
Because people want to support you, but they don't necessarily want to go to the show.
Things happen. So,
yeah.
I really help them with the business side. Like, you have to do this, and you have to give people time to plan. So the joke is, like, sometimes I've had people come to, hey, I want to do a record release. I said, let's do it. And when you're thinking, 2 weeks from now, it's like, I can't help you.
No.
How about 3 months? So, but I can relate to, musicians are just not business people, and they don't think in those terms. So, but I think you really have to reframe how you're looking at the business, but we're not talking about, building a rocket or, rocket science. It's just common sense and using certain tools, but so anyway, so just 1,000 fans, which you could build over a couple years or less if you're out there really working and you keep in touch with your fans. So if someone can make $100,000 with 1,000 fans, they're on their way.
Right.
Maybe it's more money than they're already making. So, but you have to work at it. No one's going to do it for you. That old adage, So
going into philosophy, mentorship, mm-hmm. and the emotional landscape, mm-hmm. You're known for your mentorship. Mm-hmm. What guiding philosophy shapes the way you work with artists, whether in production or creative direction?
Well, I believe that every artist has genius, and I truly believe that. My job is to sort of capture that genius. I don't want to step on it. I want to bring it out. Sometimes our artists will come out with something, that's really great. Let's do that. Let's put that instead of the back of the song, let's put that in the front. Because, we don't want to step on their creativity. They might be do something that's their own, that's very unique. They may not even do it perfectly. That's okay. Some of the best are, hey, let's talk about Sade, who I'm a huge fan of.
Me too.
She sings flat. So, but it doesn't bother people. She's got this vibe you could cut with a knife. It's
got that vibe.
Yeah. So there's a perfect example of someone who is not a perfect singer. I mean, I love her. I really like her, but she is not a perfect singer by any means. But what she does is so unique.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So artists often bring their deepest hopes and fears into the studio. How do you hold space for that emotional landscape?
Well, I deal with all types of artists. I deal with hip hop guys, rappers. I deal with pop artists. And initially, I kind of see where they are and what their goals are as far as their music. And if they're trying to rush to it, I say, whoa, let's not rush through this. And I tell them, it's like, hey, no one said you had to get it done this week. You know, I understand you're on a budget. Let's just take our time. You got to do it right. And I tell them, the joke is like, you know, Dr. Dre, he doesn't do something in a day. Or all the major stars, they've taken their time. Why would you rush your project if they're taking the time and they're working with pros? Mm-hmm. So it's like, don't rush your project. And it kind of depends on the level of the artist. If they're kind of new to singing, I will help them. I actually will take the words and actually write out the notes, and I make them learn the melody on the piano. So it's kind of ear training.
Okay.
So I said, take that home and learn the melody, because my belief is that if they're really going to make a mark and get out there, they have to perform live. Mm-hmm. So you can't just lean on digital music because you don't make the money, but you can make money performing live. People will support you. They will buy tickets. They will buy merch. And the joke is, like, when you're doing your own little concert, you're the only store there. There's no competition. It's like, oh, that's true.
Captive consumers.
Right. So I try to educate the artists and let them know, it's like, let's create a foundational thing here. As a producer, I don't like beating up the artist. And what does that mean? Behind the mic. It's like, you really want them to kind of know the song, the melody. I mean, obviously I can auto-tune it and so forth, which I use sometimes as an effect. But, I said, my belief is like, you really should learn your own song, because one day you're going to have to sing it.
Absolutely.
Even Lady Gaga got caught one time where she hadn't learned, it was A Star Is Born. It's like, oh, you never learn your song. Like, wow. Because I know what they do in the studio. They tune it, and who knows, maybe she didn't have time. But it's important that, and then I think once an artist sort of learns the actual, because it's not, I always tell artists, like, you have I'm a musician, I'm a jazz musician. So I tell them, it's like, there's only technically 12 notes in a scale, in a key. And maybe out of those 12 notes, you're going to be singing 6 or 7 notes at the most. Mm-hmm. So it's like, you just need to learn where those notes go. And I had one gentleman, oh my God, great guy. He could not sing. He wasn't tone deaf, but he worked really hard. He got a little Casio keyboard, and he went home and every day and practiced. He's big over in the UK. Who would have thought? You're not here, but he's got it. He created a niche, and he's doing full productions. It's like, after that, it's like, wow, if he can do it, anybody can do it. You just have the drive,
Good for him.
He's stuck in it.
So introducing something new always comes with resistance. Have you faced any challenges with launching your subscription model? And how did you move through them?
I think some of the old timers can't, like someone my age or someone, who hasn't experienced that, who are maybe not open-minded. They don't quite understand the concept. It's funny, I had a session with an artist, and I've been working with him. We sort of got in an argument. And I just point blank say, well, have you ever done any of this before or tried? And he wouldn't answer me. It's like, well, you tried it. And I was saying, well, he said, what does a fan subscription post? Well, it might be a little different if you're a female. Maybe you do something like a singing telegram. Maybe you sing happy birthday anniversary. That's pretty special if someone does that for a spouse.
Absolutely.
I said, that could be part. Well, why would they want to do it? And I go, well, they don't have to. It's just something, one of the ideas. That you could bake cookies. You could do anything you want. I think, and everyone, and women are so creative, they come up or make bracelets, Mm-hmm. It's where men are kind of like, got to think out of the box. So you can be incredibly creative what you sell, and I always say people will buy it, and, they have maybe your first item is only $5. Maybe your bigger item is $25. But people will buy merch. Yeah, it's kind of a no-brainer, to sell merch. I'm a big fan of that,
Was there ever a moment in your musical path that you felt, this is too bold or too risky, or maybe you felt burnt out? And how did you move through that?
No, that's a great question. I'm laughing. I became an engineer. When you have a studio, whether or not you decided to do it, I had another gentleman that was an engineer too, as my mentor, but because you're recording all types of genres, and that's something that's kind of cool. Like I can switch back and forth from, I did a country record this year. I do hip hop. Tomorrow I might be doing a rap, a pop song. It's really across the board. So when I'm working with artists, I kind of like the challenge, but I think I've always loved working with artists. There was a time when I was working crazy hours and I get a call. With rappers do this a lot. they'll keep you up all night if they can. Yes. So I don't do that anymore. It's like no, I'm not taking a session after 10.
Fair enough.
And they want to come in right now. It's like little planning, guys, would be good. It's I gotta come down. It's like, well, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna stay up all night for you. So,
how has being rooted in Martinez shaped the creative community you're building?
It's funny. When I first built the studio, I felt like, oh my God, you're on an island. Because all the major studios were in San Francisco and Oakland. And it's really interesting how that's kind of turned around. I feel fortunate that people kind of know me, and people will now come from Oakland and come from San Francisco because they like my work. And I'm also hearing from especially corporate clients that, we really like coming here. It's safe. We don't have to worry about our car being broken in. We like the restaurants. There's a Starbucks down the street. They just feel like they like the vibe. So maybe they have to drive half hour, 40 minutes. I've had people come from San Jose, which is even farther than San Francisco. So they like that they don't have to worry about the other things, and they feel like they're taken care of. So it's kind of turned around where I don't trip anymore. It's like, and it's like, oh my God, I feel like I'm just so far away from the city.
It's actually a nice thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's peaceful here.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, it's a quaint town. I like Martinez.
Yeah.
Do you see your subscription-based model? I think maybe you touched on this already as part of a bigger shift in the music industry, one that treats artists as partners rather than clients.
Well, that's a really great question. So meaning the labels?
Yeah, like as opposed to the way the majors are doing it.
Yeah, the majors don't believe in that. They're motivated by bigger numbers. So they don't make any money on the smaller numbers. So let's say an artist has, 2,000 fans. Well, an artist has 2,000 fans. They're doing pretty well. Mm-hmm. That's nothing for a label. It's like, we can't make any money off that. So it's one of those weird things, like they're not going to help out an artist who's not making money for them. They're going to drop them, yes, or use them as a tax write-off, and then drop them. Yeah, there was a conversation I had with a music attorney. It's been a few years back, but he talked about, if you're signed with a major, it's funny. I'll tell a little story in just a second. First, go back to the attorney. He said, if you're not getting the return on the investment, you'll get dropped in 9 months. It's just like this number they come up with. I was down at a conference, a taxi conference, which has anybody ever not gone to taxi? It's a wonderful conference. It's a music conference, but happens once a year. They have a road rally. But anyway, so there was a producer and a gentleman who actually was a recording engineer, and they were all Grammy Award winners. In fact, one of the gentlemen had signed Christina Aguilar, Ron Harris. And so they had brought someone up to talk, was an artist. This artist had been signed with Disney, I think at, 13, 14. Had been with Disney for 5 years or something. I think she was 19 or 20, and she got dropped. So it's like, okay, now they were kind of shopping her, because they have clout, And I was thinking, but I wasn't hearing anything. She was actually opening up for will.i.am, I think, when she was in town. So had the chops, could sing, but no one. She never talked about her. She didn't have any fans. So it's like, okay, if she gets signed by a major, she could get easily dropped again within the year because she doesn't have any fan base. Right. So, and that's labels kind of operate like that. If they're not making money, also I had a meeting with some managers, and they're ruthless, the managers, because if you can't fill a 500 seat venue, we don't want to talk to you. Right. It's all about the money. So it's like, I'll say it again, labels are not doing artist development. Back in the day, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 years ago, they would actually sign someone for a three album deal. They just don't do that anymore. And the record companies back there was like, well, we'll make our money, start making our money back on the second album. So they looked at the long return, but that's not how it's done today. I mean, it's really, you're better off really creating your own following. There's some work to it. And if a label does come to you, you have some clout. You have something that's leverage. Yeah. You don't want to take the first thing that comes to you. It's funny, I have a lot of artists think, what if this happens? I said, well, we'll have our attorney look at it and see if it's a good thing. Well, we're just going to jump on it because, You can say, well, that's not really, I'm already making that. Why would I want to split my money? And then why would I want to give my master to the record labels? So what I do here when I sign artists, we do a 50-50 split on the master. I have administration rights. What that means is that if something comes along, like let's say someone wants to use your song in a movie or TV or film, I can say, hey, we're going to, I can actually give them the music and clear it. That means you have 100% rights. So it's like, it's good. It's a good thing for the artist. But I'm not going to have ownership. Like what happens, a lot of the majors, they keep ownership and the artists can't do anything. They're kind of stifled. They've done that for years,
Yeah.
So.
Do you shop to the movie industry for your artists? I'm
involved in that. If I have an artist, I just submitted some songs to Taxi, which actually places music for film and TV. I'm still kind of building my backlog with artists because the label's not that old. So with some of it's establishing relationships with the music supervisors, there's brokers and there's also music supervisors. But if you get established with a broker or music supervisor, they'll call you again, what else you got? And it's interesting, the music supervisors are really fans of music. They love original music. So it's not like canned music. They want real artists. And a lot of times there might be a niche that an artist will fit into. Mm-hmm. So I can't think of the artist. She broke through. I can't think of the name. But there's been artists who have broke overnight because they got something placed on a TV or film.
Well, that's the first time I heard of Lorde. Remember? Yes. Mm-hmm. I love that song, The Royals.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's why I'm a huge, I see all these apps and everything. It's like, be careful. It comes both ways. The AI can detect if you're using it. The algorithms can detect if you're using AI. And I know the music supervisors and the brokers, they put a big X up. They do not want anything that's not 100% right. They have rights. So they won't accept AI. So that's what the apps don't tell you. Suno is like, oh my God.
Oh.
So they're, it's a money making thing. So obviously I'm for the artists. I'm really a proponent of artists doing their own thing and having independence. And then not being, doesn't mean they can't have help, they can work with other people that can help them create the music. But I'll say the same thing. You really have to be careful that you have the rights to your own stuff because it doesn't fly in the real world.
Right.
So not to mention you want your stuff to be kind of original.
Yeah, why not?
But a concept.
Right.
So, I definitely have anyway, that's my philosophy about that.
That's great. When you imagine the long arc of your legacy, what do you hope future generations of artists will say about the environment you created?
Well, that's a great question. That it's a label that actually helps the artists, guides the artists. As I'm building my team, we want to sustain. I tell artists, you can have a career in music. Because everyone's telling them they can't.
Right.
I said, don't give up your day job right now. But if you work, I say, well, in a year from now, you can make that transition. There's some work involved. And I always go, it's not like digging a ditch. I said, there's some work, you can sit at home watching Netflix and invite all your people to your next concert. Maybe it's 200 people on your phone, but you've reached out. And I tell them, don't use automated emails. Mm-mm. Reach out personally, say, hey, Sally, it's great seeing you last couple weeks back. Hey, I got love to have you be there. You personalize it. People aren't stupid. Right. So the more you personalize that stuff and you do it between texting is huge. It's funny. And I also, if you have a following with Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook, and I don't know why people don't use Facebook because it's like a younger generation. Like there's a lot of people on Facebook.
There really is.
I don't know. It's like, okay, use them all. I don't understand. You can DM people. And amazingly, people will answer you back.
They will.
So it's like, let's say an artist wants to collect information. Hey, I have this new thing I'd love to give you for free. I just want to get your information. This is not, actually, it's pretty popular to do that. So you get something for free, but you're really there to collect information and not abuse that information. Just let the fan know you have something coming up. The fans are okay with that.
You have new merch. You have a new show.
Yeah. So another thing that is really crucial, I didn't invent this concept. It's like, TikTok could be gone tomorrow. Mm-hmm. YouTube could be gone. Instagram, we've all heard of MySpace
Right.
that disappeared. So you really, as quick as you can, you want to have your own site and you want to drive people. Like I never quite understood, like, okay, let me see, I'm driving people to a digital platform where I don't make any money. It's like
like, that's crazy,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. So no one said you can't, it's like, well, I have a special, and it's something that I believe in. It's like you could create a special CD. By the way, people still buy CDs, by the way, with downloads because it's a memento. They sign CDs. So I know artists that still make CDs, and people sign. They may not even. I had a girlfriend once, and
just once.
Good. Yeah, just once. Yeah, I took her to the concert. She was a few years younger than me, and I was really familiar with the music because she always played it in my car. So she had the clothes on, the merch. She was all dressed up, and she said, "Hey, babe, I want to go backstage." It's great, I'll be here. So she comes back with a CD, and I go, "Babe," "you don't even own a CD player." She goes, "Yeah, but they signed my CD."
Aww.
So there you go.
There you go.
Yeah,
that experience.
Yeah. I was down at Taxi, and I met the CEO of CD Baby. Excuse me, Disc Makers. He was with CD Baby in the beginning. And he said CD sales are up, which is crazy. Now, what usually happens is people will buy it kind of as a merch, something that's material, but they also will give downloads. That's how you have to do it. It's really more of a memento,
Yes,
So,
yes.
you can also get a USB and put stuff on that too, and then put in a little package,
Yeah.
So.
Like even music videos and things like that.
Yes, well, that's great about USB. You can, like you said, you can have videos. You can put whatever you want, pictures, photos. And the cool part, you just kind of uniquely, you just don't get USB.
Liner notes and things like that.
Oh, you can be really creative.
That's what I miss about records.
Yeah.
Vinyl and all that.
It's my argument is like, that worked before. Why did that stop? So I don't, because like I said, the labels, they set the trend at one time, but I think they're losing a little ground. Like I said, they aren't going to sign. It's true. Like the only way you're going to get signed with a label if you already kind of built your credibility and
you already built your system.
Following. Yeah. So they're not going to touch you unless, I'm kind of putting the labels down a little bit, but they're pretty credulous in the fact of how they do business. They're not, it's about the money. But back to your questions, like I really want to be a label known as where they're here to build futures, to help the artists, guide them, and do the right things that builds their career, and let them know that you can make a living. Maybe you're not going to be a Beyonce, but that doesn't mean you can't make a couple $100,000 a year or more just selling your own music.
Without having all the headaches of that level of fame.
Right. So
that's really hard.
And then the best thing is you have ownership.
Yes, that's the best thing.
Yeah. So I think it's an amazing time for artists today. And I mean, there's a huge shift with the technology, but that's actually, I think, can work for the artists, and I was kind of trying to wrap my head around the AI, because that's a big thing I think about. I'm thinking, well, AI is really designed, I know that, I'm talking about Spotify again, they allow AI driven stuff. And the part that really annoys me is that it affects the market. And there's companies who are accepting AI music, and it kind of like crowds the market as far as the regular person, doing music. That's the downside. But at the same token, an artist who maybe sells maybe under 5,000 units a year, they're not going to make any money on Spotify anyway.
No.
I think it was Karra, the person that she had the following on. She had sold 1 million downloads or something. And like I said, she only made $1,200.
Yeah.
$1,200 is a house concert.
And then they ended up taking her stuff down, right? Somebody posted to her website, and somehow...
Yeah. You may want to maybe put that link to her video.
Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, thank you for saying that.
Yeah, because she is actually, got quite a following, a YouTube following, influencer. So
in the show notes.
Yeah.
I'm making a note right now.
Yeah, that I'm not that I'm sad that it happened to her, but I'm glad she's like, okay, people, this is what happened.
Well, and then she showed how to turn it around and make it positive, because she lost a lot of maybe listeners on that platform.
Well, the funny part, funny part is I feel like, isn't that Karra? She goes, she talked about, someone said, why don't you just sell music directly on your site? And she goes, well, I'm going to have to restructure my deals with the artists. I go, I'm shaking my head now. You can't see me in. Like, that's not restruct. All the people you work with would like to make money. I'm sure they would sign a new deal. How hard is that? Because, you have people knocking on your door. Like, I remember there was a gentleman, he was a promoter. He puts on concerts. And I remember one time talking to him, and he's a little older. And I go, his name was Jim. I go, Jim, I'm trying to figure out what I should sell the CDs for with my artists. He gives me this blank stare. He goes, look, he says, if a fan likes what you're doing and you're only selling it at the concert, they don't care if it's $10, $15, $20, they're going to buy it. It's like, oh, that's true.
It's true.
They can't, especially CDs or whatever, you can't get it at a local store. I mean, Tower Records is gone. So it's like, oh, once I started thinking that way, it's like, yeah, they really want your music, so they don't care. I deal with that with a lot of young artists, like, well, we should sell for $5. Like, listen, kids today have money. Mm-hmm. I see them at Starbucks. I mean, their parents have money. Sell it because they want your, and if you can sign the merch, which is huge, that's why CDs or USBs are so popular. It's so personal.
Yes.
So it's kind of like I'm talking about some old principles, but those always work, and they still work because people are still human. They still want the tactile stuff. That's why the digital market is kind of weird. It's like, well, it's not human.
I definitely miss that.
Yeah. But people they're still tactile. They still want, to meet the groups. They still want to meet the artists. That's still huge,
Mm-hmm. What's stirring you right now? What new ideas or projects are calling you forward as you continue your involvement in this ecosystem?
Well, my career is slowly building as a producer. I'm working with an international artist, Tish Fox. Ed Sheeran wants to work with her, so that's in good company.
Nice.
So I'm hoping to meet Ed, through her.
Yeah.
And I'm working with a Mexican-American group. These guys and women are cool. There's a whole niche of music they're doing, and they're sort of doing a hybrid of modernizing their stuff. And we're going to do on this next project, we're going to create a line dance song.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, I used to be a DJ, and I always felt there's only 3 songs that are like Cupid Shuffle and, of course, the Macarena. I think there's another one, but
Electric Slide.
Electric Slide, thank you. So I wish I had more of those as a DJ because, everyone gets on dance. Like, okay, we need to create a line dance. We're going to bring in a choreographer, some professional dancers, and then we're going to hit the ground running with the social media.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
So, but the nice part is it's like this team of people are listening to me. It's like, okay, step 1, step 2, let's not, half-ass it. Let's make sure it comes off right. But then let's follow up with the content. One of the things that we're providing is we have a room for filming and videos and so forth. It's also a place where artists can broadcast their concerts. We can do up to 50 people. It's not a big venue, but we actually can make more money because we used to do 500-seat theaters. Part of the problem with that is that you have to get a lot of people in there. By the time I paid for the facility, the joke is paid the lighting guy who was sitting on his butt the whole time, that sort of thing. And then, and then paying my crew to come up and set up the sound and get in there and get out by certain, no one's making any money, especially the artists. Like, okay, so it's like, oh, what if I have a venue that's smaller? If the artist sells 45, 50 tickets, and people say, well, what if I get more people? It's like, well, we have more shows.
Yeah, there you go.
If you can, we could do 3 shows back to back. It's like, oh, okay.
That's it.
And it's kind of pleasant. I've been getting a lot of nice feedback from the fans. Like, we love this. It's intimate. We like it. We can meet the artist. The artists sell merch. So it's really great. It's a good way to build your fan base. Also, it's a good way, since it's a media room, we can also talk about their fan subscription, kind of introduce that to fans, explain that. So it's like it's tough. Like, if you go to a venue, sometimes you can't control the environment. So it's like, I feel like I'm building something here. Like back in the day, maybe in the 30s, 40s, RCA, which I know people know what RCA, but they were biggie back in the day. They had their own recording studio, but they also had a film studio. It was all in the same lot. So I feel like I'm sort of doing that where I can have everything in-house. I can keep the cost down. I have my own film crew now. So it's great because not every artist can, dish out $3,000 to $4,000 for a
music
video.
Yeah.
Something that we're going to be building we're building a content room where we're going to have a big screen. So let's say an artist wants to come in and put a background in the back of them, and we'll have lighting set up for them so they can create content.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah. So all they really got to do is bring their cell phone in. So if they want to perform live, I just had an artist talk to me. It's like, well, I really want to perform. So, well, we'll set up the reverbs and the mic and, the effects so you can sing live, which is great. We're doing a video this Sunday for 2 artists, and they're coming in singing their songs. They're both guitar singers. We got 3 cameras rolling to tape them, and then we're going direct with their vocals and guitar to Pro Tools, because the studio's just down the hall. So, and then in post, I'll be able to mix that. So it's kind of like having, a lot of times it's tough to people will come out and throw up their camera and tape someone, but the quality's not there. So this is kind of like a live production. They're doing it live, but we'll have them we're actually bringing in an audience.
That's great.
Yeah. So it'll seem like a real concert where usually you'll do a song in the studio and then the artist is lip syncing, but they say, we'd like to do something live. So there's something to that when it's live too. There
really is.
Yeah. So of course we're going to pick the best takes.
Of course. Why not?
Yeah. So it's kind of like the structure of supporting the artist, having a place where they can do content. If I could say content is huge. There's an artist named Nick D. He's really got it down. This guy has never been out of his home state. I'm not even sure where he's from, but one thing that he did, he was so consistent. He was putting out 2 songs a month, but he had a background as a videographer. He did weddings, so he could learn he could edit and do his own videos. But he was consistent, so consistent. Now he's one of the bigger artists out there. I would say he's someone to look up and he actually, people have come to him like the bit majors, and he said, well, it's not a good deal. I'm not going to do it. Like, how many people do that?
I love it.
Yeah. But the thing that I learned from him is that he is so consistent with his content. Content. I can't say enough about how important that is. And you do it your own way. You do it however you want to do it. I think people are generally interested if you do something interesting,
And being yourself is really key.
Being yourself.
Authentic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. People feel that.
Yeah. So there's some work involved. I think I tell artists, it's funny because artists sort of can get in the way. They can get in
our own way.
Yeah. It's like, you have the talent. You have a good a chance as anybody else. You just have to get out of your way, and you got to spend a little money. It's like, but I know you're spending that money on other things. It's like, I watched well, you just came in and smoked whatever, how much that was.
Oh, no.
So that too. But it's like, what are your priorities? I think the difference between someone who has success is they've just really have knuckled down and really concentrated and focused. That's the biggest deal. I don't think it's always talent.
Yeah. I think I've heard a lot of people echo that. I was just reading an article about Cardi B,
mm-hmm.
and she was saying, the interviewer asked her, what would be the worst thing that your children could do?
Mm-hmm.
And she said, if they're lazy.
Oh, interesting.
She said, because...
They're lazy?
She said, please don't be lazy. She said, get out there and make it happen. I don't care what you want to do, but make it happen. Because if you're lazy, that's just going to be a big disappointment.
Yeah. Not to get on a tangent, but I don't smoke the hashish.
Right?
I know a lot of people that do it. I shouldn't get on that subject.
No, I know. I do too.
But at the same time, it's like, well, it kind of makes you feel like you don't want to do anything. That's just my take on it.
That's true. Like, everyone's different.
It's like, hey, don't talk about that. I'm kidding. It's like, but no, you want to be in a place where you're not having anything alter your state, where you can, get up the next morning and do the stuff you need to do, That's my philosophy.
Well, like you said, you got to stand on business. You got to be, think like an entrepreneur.
Yes.
And be able to make that swivel when you need to make the most of opportunities that come your way.
I think that's an excellent way. The swivel, I think, is really kind of a deep statement. The swivel, I think, is actually learning the business side of it. There's lots of people out there with some great courses, or you kind of emulate what some of the people are doing, their success, right? Try to recreate the wheel, that sort of thing. So there's lots of people who know how to market, and there's lots of information out there to learn from. So yeah, there's really no reason. There's some work involved. Yeah.
Sure. So Michael, before we close on this part of the interview, is there anything living on your heart in this moment that you feel called to share?
Yeah. I'm looking for artists that are truly serious. They have a dream. If they're committed, I can help them. I'm a real music person. Like, what's that mean? I'm actually a production person. So, I was talking to someone a couple weeks back, and I haven't heard her sing. She had such huge drive. Like, I'm just, I hope she can sing. But I wasn't even tripping on that.
Right.
It's like, because I've worked with so many people where I've helped them along. It's like, if you have the drive and you really, this is in your heart and this is something. And I think truly, I always tell artists, like, something I came across this year is like, if you are passionate about it and this is something you have to do, because there's artists that don't have a choice. I have to do music. So you feel like that way, then you should do it. Don't listen to it. It's like, if you have that drive, it's something you want to put out to the world, then you should do it because it's part of your being. I'm one of these people, like, I'm a production person. I'm not in the same place that artists, like, I'm a little more stable. Not that artists aren't stable, but I'm kind of the person that at the end of the day, I'm doing all the technical stuff. So I kind of come from another place. So, but I want the artists to be creative and do their thing. I'm there to kind of put that together. That's my job. Right. So that, I want the artists to be creative. Don't worry about it. I can put it together. But if you have something to say and you're driven to do that, then that's what you should do. The money will come. It's like, don't worry about the money. Just get into it,
Yeah. Jump in. Yeah. So how would listeners or artists get a hold of you? What's the best way to reach you?
You can email me at harvestmoonstudios 1741 at gmail.com. That's harvestmoonstudios with an S, 1741 at gmail.com. Or you can call our direct number, 925-586 8948, 925-586-8948. And I actually take a lot of the calls. I like talking to artists. I kind of feel like a lot of times what I'll do is I'll say, hey, let's set up a meeting. Let's talk. Tell me what your dreams are, what you want to do. And if they're serious, I'll take them to the next level, if they have the commitment. So.
Wow, Michael, thank you for opening the doors to your world. And to everyone listening, let today be an invitation. You're allowed to create new paths, and you're allowed to build spaces where you and others can thrive. You've been listening to The Dream Room with Amytra. Join us next month for part 2 as we explore Harvest Moon Studios and Blue Tree Labels artist David Uzo Lance. Don't miss it.